My name is Laura Soriano. I am a biosystems engineering graduate, and I am currently working for the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority. I also have some experience in grad school. I am making this video because I would like to provide my input on equity, diversity, and inclusion. And this is the perspective of a woman of color, a Latin American, someone who has experienced racism and marginalization. So I'm gonna first start by talking about what I encountered at the University of Manitoba, and then I will go on to explain what can be done to increase diversity at the workplace. So what I experienced at the University of Manitoba was a stark rejection from faculty and staff when I was trying to establish relationships with people that had more social capital than me. So I was actively looking for mentorship. And, as a Latin American coming from a very good school, and experiencing also a change of culture, I was looking towards people that could provide me with social capital rather than interacting with my peers, and this was very important. I came to to the Faculty of Engineering at a time where there were no mentorship. There wasn't a mentorship program, and also we didn't have the wall that is currently at the faculty. So experiencing rejection when you're very young, especially rejection from people that have more social capital and power, can be quite disastrous. It destroys you. But I survived, so here I am making this video. The University of Manitoba is a place that has a lot of international students, people coming everywhere. So it can apparently seem that the university is very diverse, but what is happening behind is something that we don't know. Who are getting the jobs? Who are getting the awards? Who gets to become a doctor and a lawyer, and who doesn't? So those are the things which is called institutional racism that we don't see. So I am currently working at the WRHA, which has a lot of diversity as well, because we have a lot of people of color, a lot of immigrants, and Canadians as well, but there are no Indigenous people. I had one Indigenous coworker, she retired, and other than that, there are no Indigenous people in the workplace. So this is why I'm making this video. And I also don't have any Indigenous friends. So what I would like to say about the lack of diversity at the workplace is that it has more to do with social capital and social status rather than cultural differences. So your social status and your social status and your social capital will determine whether you get a job, whether you are articulate enough to win an interview at a job, and whether you'll get the grades to get a good job. What is social status and what is social capital? It is your ability to be eloquent, charming, good looking, and the ability to express your ideas. Your ability to socialize, it means that you're fluent, that your English is not broken, that you smile a lot, we often think that money is not a determinant of happiness, but it is, if you don't have to worry about paying rent, about paying bills, you're probably happy, you'll probably be charming, you'll have a smile in your face. So that is social capital. So your ability to socialize and to be eloquent and charming and all that, it's is related to your socioeconomical status. So and I will talk more about what can we do, to include indigenous people. And I'm not saying that other cultures or people that have other cultures don't have social capital. So the dominant culture that we have today at the workplace and at academic institutions is corporate and bureaucratic, which is the normative culture that dominates, and it is imposed to workers, migrants, and indigenous people. This normative culture, which developed in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, and is still with us, and it was orchestrated to suppress the 1960s, which was a period, an incredible culture of flourishing and optimism, the 1960s. So the 1960s was a period of enlightenment and social agitation. What is corporate culture? Corporate culture is a culture of apathy, where personal relationships are frowned upon, where there is no community of friendship, but rather apathy and etiquette. It's described by busyness, people being busy and stressed. This is how I perceived it. And it's also characterized by coldness, indifference, business etiquette, and people being impersonal and distant. What can we do to increase diversity or help migrants, people of color, and increase increase indigenous population at the workplace, and also preventing that people of color and indigenous people end up in how to prevent that people of color, indigenous people, and migrants end up in the criminal system or are criminalized by the system or punished or or their social or their economic opportunities determined by their race. So the suggestions I have are several. First of all, be a friend. And by this I mean relate, engage in dialogue. Don't be don't be afraid to relate to a migrant. I think that often, we believe that if a migrant is approaching us, there is, we perceive them as being needy. If someone is of people of color, a migrant, and indigenous, starts talking to you, you feel that this person wants to get personal, and I don't need needy people in my life. It's important to establish boundaries, but to have it's important to establish boundaries if you are not looking for a relationship, of course. And by this I mean mentorship relationships or friendships. So what can you do? Have regular times for meetings. And here I am describing mentorship relationships. Mentorship is a great way in which social capital may be transferred to people of color, migrants, and indigenous people. Be a friend, engage in mentorship relationships. So what does it mean to be a friend? It can be as simple as, going for a drink, having dinner, invite to a restaurant if you have the means, if you are in a position of power. Make it clear that you're married, making clear that you're not looking for a love relationship, make it clear that you have a partner, make it clear that you only have 1 hour or make it clear that you can only meet for bi-weekly. So so mentorship, relationships, and friendships. uh, what if a migrant or a person of color falls in love with you? So as I said, make it clear that that you already have a relationship or a family. So a friend of mine said, if someone is flirting, call the police. Calling the police or security is colonization. But guess what? What is the police gonna do if you call them and you say, oh, there's someone flirting with me? They're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna laugh at you. Because flirting is not a crime. Okay, what else can we do to increase diversity? Build community. Community is the opposite of workplace culture, corporate culture, or bureaucracy. It's the opposite of indifference. Also, get rid of meritocracy, talent, and perfection, which used to be the culture of the Faculty of Engineering when I did my engineering school. You know, what they imposed was an incredible, like, perfectionism, meritocracy. I saw with my eyes what was happening, the meritocracy. Students that are Canadian or that they have better English, they're friends with the professors, they're friends with the staff. You know, staff are very friendly to people that have social capital. And I was looked down because I didn't have money to dress properly. Like I went shopping at Value Village when I was a student. I was very poor. And I noticed how the students that dress up well, the students that are eloquent, that can articulate their ideas, they are the ones that get the jobs. Not us that have broken English, not us that are not as charming, not us that are poor and not as eloquent when we speak. Nevertheless, education pays off. So if you are not, don't have any friends, people reject you, people look down at you, but you do well in school, you focus, that will open doors. So there is hope. But still, WRHA, no indigenous people at my workplace. So what can we do to increase? Be a friend, build community. Build community. Set up a teepee in the front of your yard and a fire and invite friends. That's my plan. That's what I want to do. I hope when I have a place of my own. So this is it. This is the perspective of a Latin American, a woman of color, someone who has a struggle with the system. And there you go. I hope this is useful.